Hello and welcome to the English virtual class. The topic for today is Matura revision reading comprehension task. Let's begin together with a reading comprehension practice. Firstly, a text about the opera. Opera refers to a dramatic art form originating in Europe in which the emotional content is conveyed to the audience as much through music, both vocal and instrumental, as it is through the lyrics. By contrast, in musical theater, an actor's dramatic performance is primary and the music plays a lesser role. The drama in opera is presented using the primary elements of theater such as scenery, costumes, and acting. However, the words of the opera or libretto are sung rather than spoken. Let's continue with the other part of the text. The singers are accompanied by a musical ensemble ranging from a small instrumental ensemble to a full symphonic orchestra. Now you should try to keep in mind this text because there are going to be some questions about it. So the practice. Let's see. First question for you to answer. It is pointed out in the reading that opera A has developed under the influence of musical theater, B is a drama sung with the accompaniment of an orchestra, C is not a high-budget production, D is often performed in Europe, or E is the most complex of all the performing arts. Try to guess or to find which one is the correct one, according to the text, of course. Let's see together. So the correct one is B, is a drama sung with the accompaniment of an orchestra. Number 2, we can understand from the reading that A, people are captivated more by opera than musical theater. B, drama in opera is more important than the music. Let's continue with C. Orchestras in operas can vary considerably in size. D. Musical theater relies above all on music, or E. There is argument over whether the music is important or the words in opera. Now you should find the correct one. Let's see together. It is actually C. Orchestras in operas can vary considerably in size. And let's see number 3. It is stated in the reading that A. Acting and costumes are secondary to music in musical theater. B. Many people find musical theater more captivating than opera. C. Music in musical theater is not as important as it is in opera. D. An opera requires a huge orchestra as well as a large choir. Or E. Opera doesn't have any properties in common with musical theater. Now, which one do you think is the correct one? Can you find it? Let's see together. The correct one is actually C. Music in musical theater is not as important as it is in opera. Now let's continue with the other short text. Erosion in America. Let's read it together and then let's answer some questions about it. Erosion of America's farmland by wind and water has been a problem since settlers first put the prairies and grasslands under the plow in the 19th century. By the 1930s, more than 282 million acres of farmland were damaged by erosion. After 40 years of conservation efforts, soil erosion has accelerated due to new demands placed on the land by heavy crop production. Let's see the other part of the text. In the years ahead, soil erosion and the pollution problems it causes are likely to replace petroleum scarcity as the nation's most critical natural resource problem. Now try to memorize the text and let's see the questions. First one, as we understand from the reading today, soil erosion in America causes humans to place new demands on the land. B is worse than it was in the 19th century. C happens so slowly that is hardly noticed. D is the most critical problem that the nation faces. E is worse in areas which have a lot of petroleum production. Let's see the correct one together. I hope you found it correctly. It's B, is worse than it was in the 19th century, so soil erosion in America. Number 2, the author points out in the passage that erosion in America, has damaged 282 million acres ever since settlers first put the prairies and grasslands under the plow. B, has been so severe that it has forced people to abandon their settlements. C, occurs only in areas with no vegetation. And let's continue with D, can become a more serious problem in the future. Or lastly, was on the decline before 1930s. Which one of these do you think is the correct one? Let's see together. It is actually D, can become a more serious problem in the future. And lastly, it is pointed out in the reading that in America, petroleum is causing heavy soil erosion and pollution problems. B, heavy crop production is necessary to meet the demands and to prevent a disaster. Soil erosion has been hastened due to the overuse of farming lands. D, water is undoubtedly the largest cause of erosion. Or E, there are many ways to reduce erosion. Which one do you think is the correct one? Let's see together. So, soil erosion has been hastened due to the overuse of farming lands. C is the correct one. Thank you very much for your attention.